Friday night. SmackDown coming up. So we're going to be talking about SmackDown right here, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, here on the Friday edition of the SLATE. I'm Mr. Warren Hayes, where indeed we take a few minutes out of our busy day to sit around and talk about tonight's WWE offering SmackDown go-home show before Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, which is happening this week. But TLC, right? Because probably just calling it Table, Ladders, and Chairs would be too long. Too many syllables. I think Vince McMahon has something against syllables. I think he dislikes people who sneeze. And he dislikes syllables. That would be my guess. But hey, this is what we're doing here right now. Friday evening, SmackDown Live is on the way, and I thank you for joining me here on the stream, on the program. I want to say hello to Brian Payne, who's here. Hello, Brian. I want to say hello to Aaron Entertainment. Aaron, good to see you, and our boy Mark, Wrestling Genius. Was that a slip of the tongue, or is that my subconscious just peeping out there for a second? Wrestling Jeebus, how you doing? Welcome one and all. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little under the weather today. Wasn't necessarily the best day, but I had a good hearty dinner. I had a good hearty dinner, and it perked me up a bit. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's get on and we'll do it. It's gonna take more to keep me away from hitting the start stream button, putting on a hat and starting putting the start stream button. Hey, a week from now it's Christmas. That's wild. It's wild to me. I hope everyone is really in the holiday spirit. Hopefully you're not waiting too much last minute for your gifts, especially if you've started, if you're like, oh, I should order something off of Amazon because this is critical, folks. The 24th is next Thursday. Not sure. You got to be careful, especially if you're using your local postal services. Might not be out on time. I'm just saying. DGMC says hello. He says to stop reading his mind. Look, I'll tell you one thing. I've read a lot of fiction in my time. One of the things that I would definitely steer clear from reading it all, it is your mind, my friend. And I want you to take that as a compliment. Let's start talking about wrestling. By the way, join the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord. I don't know if you're, I don't know if it's a good idea. Sorry. I know it's a good idea. I don't know if you've joined yet. You should do that. Come and watch SmackDown with us tonight. I don't know how much I'll be hanging around the Discord tonight. Quite honestly, like I'm beat. I'm just like, pfft. But I'll pop in for sure. For sure. I'll at least pop in and say hello, kind of thing. The SmackDown before TLC, the official go home show. What has World Wrestling Entertainment cooked up for us? What have they prepped for us on this lovely evening? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to be having the Street Profits fighting Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. This is going to be a tag team title match. I mean, there's the thing, right? It's like we've been seeing iterations of this right up to date and right up to now, and it's hard to be like, ooh, yes, exciting, super fun. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I can't. It's hard. This one's it's a tough one to get excited. Like, they did the same thing on SmackDown, right? They did the same thing on Raw. Pardon me. Just over the past couple of weeks with the New Day and the Hurt Business, right? It did the exact same thing. Different iterations of the match as we move forward, and then at some point you're like, but it's really, really, the New Day and the Hurt Business has given us some really entertaining matches. The Street Profits and Rude and Ziggler, not that much, but this could be the one that they were saving, right? The one in the chamber that they didn't that they didn't want to pull the trigger on. This could be it. And quite honestly, I mean, I don't know about you guys and gals, but I feel like the Street Profits should drop the titles just to mix things up a little. I mean, there has to be some kind of action happening because the division is stale. The tag team division is incredibly stale. So if you have any opportunity to just like mix some stuff up and have something interesting happen, well, right? Wouldn't this be the occasion to do it? Or you know what? The other thing that might happen is that it might end up we might end up in fuck finish territory, and this ends up being on the pre-show. They have a rematch on the pre-show this Sunday, and then there's a title change, you know, kind of thing. I don't know, man. It's not doing it for me. Let's put it that way. It's just not doing it for me. Well, you know, woof. It's really not all that interesting. It's not an interesting feud, and Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode paired up it's not interesting either. It's never been interesting, and it's never had that. Because look, not that I'm against putting two singles guys into a tag team, and then eventually then magic happens, and then you're like, oh, look at this great tag team. I mean, just a recent example of that is The Bar, right? But Sheamus and Cesaro, eventually they develop chemistry because they're pros, and probably they just really legitimately got along backstage. They grew into the role of a tag team, and it felt natural, it felt good. Whereas like Cesaro and Shinsuke isn't necessarily clicking, right? And Ziggler and Roode, I mean, for all the times that they've made it happen and wanted to push it down our throats kind of thing, and they're still trying to push this combination down our throats, it's not meshing. It's not, there's something missing there. And I think it's that it thing, the chemistry it's just not there. So it's hard for me to get excited about it. And frankly, I mean, and maybe I should pull this up here. Hang on a second, because the thing is that at the same time, I really am part of these folks who are a little irritated at Montez Ford. I'm not going to lie. Let me pull this up over here. There we go. And I mean, here, take a look at this. Look at this guy. I mean, Montez has to he has to dial it back a little. And frankly, I've been saying this for a while. I've been saying this for a long, long time, that Montez Ford sort of has to scale his energy back a little bit. Because when they got up on Maine, I was like, man, he's a little too intense all the time, a little too corny all the time. He's got to just like dial it just a bit. I don't want him to become boring. It's just like, just dial it back a bit. Otherwise, people are going to start turning against him. They're going to think he's annoying, and I think this is where we are right now. I mean, like, I get it. Like, this is the energy the team has, right? I mean, it's a great photo to represent the team. Don't get me wrong. That's what the Street Profits are, right? But my God, man, Montez, he's always like at 11 constantly, and sometimes you just have to nuance a bit. Anyway, thank you, Montez. Yeah. So this is like their featured match for tonight. It's not the people we want to see. It's not the thing. This doesn't get us excited, I don't think. Bayley is going to take on Bianca Belair. A little out of nowhere, this one is, but okay. Now this is the Carlos. How you doing? Welcome, Carlos. Bayley and Bianca Belair. Okay, so this is where we're at, and I can. Hi, Nikki. Welcome as well. This is cool. There's no other way to put it, right? And I'd be remiss to say the opposite. Because it wouldn't make sense to begin with. And here, let's get the women on here so that we can all see. So we can see both of them. But I mean, this is the thing that I've been saying for a couple of weeks, right? It's like if you're going to do a feud for Bayley, it has to be against Bianca, and this is what we're getting. They started building it. I'm assuming you guys saw Bayley sort of making fun of Bianca earlier this week on Twitter, where she was doing deadlifts, or what is, I don't know, or some kind of sweat. Look, I'm not gonna I'm gonna pretend. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I know like workout terminology, because we'll be making fun of everyone here. Yeah, see, this is the feud that I wanted. I think it's the one that makes the most sense. I think these are two women who are going to have really good chemistry with each other. I think Bayley is going to make sure that Bianca comes off as a dominant, and strong and powerful. She's the perfect foil for Bianca at this point. Two very strong characters, two very strong personalities. This creates interest, and as we saw in the chat, people are excited about it. People are excited to see this match, and with reason. Bayley is a top woman. Bianca, we've been saying for it feels like decades now that she's deserving of a top spot. So let's give it to her. Let's do it, right? But if I have to quibble, and I kind of do, it's always on the question of, is it too soon? Should they have kept them away from each other? Just don't let them touch each other until we build up to a good, proper match. There's always value in that, right? I think there is. And not necessarily a pay-per-view. Because I don't want, here's the thing that I've talked about it. I've talked about it, and I always try to juggle this. Do you save your big matches exclusively for pay-per-views? In the case of WWE, mind you. Okay, we're talking about WWE here. Do you save your matches for pay-per-views? Or do you give your big matches on TV? Because the business of pay-per-view for WWE has nothing to do with hopefully people will buy the show, so we'll put our big matches on there. No one's buying the shows anymore. They have a subscription. Technically right now, WWE has your money if you're a subscriber. So they don't care really if you end up watching a pay-per-view or not. They already have your cash. On the flip side, there's the idea that you want to be able to score big ratings for the network that you're on, so that when it's time to renegotiate your rights deals, well, you can go get more money, right? And I think that's where the business is for WWE these days. I think that's what makes the most sense. So, the pay-per-view moving forward for World Wrestling Entertainment, again, not the same with AEW, not the same with MLW or Impact, but WWE, they don't need you to watch the pay-per-view. They just want you to subscribe to the network. But they don't need you to watch the pay-per-view for the money. So is this normal what we're seeing? And I would have a tendency to say yes. This is the norm right here. But I also think so just to finish my point before I move on to another one, I don't think anyone being angry and saying they should have saved this, why are they putting it on free TV? That's backwards thinking. So I'm not upset that they're giving us this match on TV. I'm not upset that they're giving us the match part and parcel. But I am questioning the logic of giving it to us. Yes, pretzels. I am questioning the logic of them delivering the match unto us so soon, because I don't feel like there's been a proper build-up to this match outside of aspirations, outside of, dream match situations. And I wouldn't call it a dream match per se, but a match where you're like, Bianca's on main roster now, Bayley, kind of thing. It's a prospect that a lot of us have been looking forward to. Hell, I've seen more buzz about this match than anything else on regarding SmackDown today, and with good reason. So, WWE, good for you for announcing this match ahead of time and getting people excited about it, because I sincerely feel that people are excited to see Bayley versus Bianca tonight. I know I am. This is a match I've been waiting to see for a while, and much more than Profits versus Zood and Ligler. I'm just wondering, should have this been done a little further down the line? Yeah, I think there is value in keeping your wrestlers away from each other, like hands off for a while, build that tension, especially when you have such a creative mind like Bayley, someone who's reveling in her heel role and can be just an absolute jerk. I think there's look, regardless, we're not ending the feud tonight. This is a stepping stone. I'm fully expecting a non-finish out of this, or something inconclusive, so that we can move forward. I'm just questioning. I'm not questioning putting the match on TV. I'm just questioning the timing more out about it than anything else. But hey, there we go. I want to say hello to Chris Greenlee and William Davis, who are here, and Injection 2K as well. Injection 2K, who left a super chat. Thank you very much. He says, Alex McCarthy, that guy. Do you know Alex McCarthy? Now you think I'm going to say something rotten about him, but I'm not. Alex McCarthy, a few months ago, I was on his radio program, not his base podcast that he puts out to wrestle into the wrestling world. No. His radio program. I don't know if you guys remember. Maybe you remember this. Maybe you don't. But he invited me on his radio. Jake Hudson, thank you very much for becoming a member. Enjoy those emojis, man. Thank you very much. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. But okay. So he invites me on his radio show to have a trivia quiz challenge. And you know who my opponent was? Do you know who my opponent was? My opponent was Kristen Ashley of Bell to Bells. Right? So we had questions, trivia questions on wrestling, and I want you to know, guys. I hope she's listening right now, actually. Do you know who won? Do you know who won? Chris Greenlee also became a member of the channel. Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Enjoy the emojis. Use them. Now we're going to be adding more. This is fantastic. I won. I smacked her. I splattered her. I ran a truck of wrestling knowledge over her and backed up on her again, wiped the floor with her. And because of that, Alex McCarthy called me, a wrestling luminary. And it's in my Twitter bio. There's a reason for that. Alex is a cool guy. I really like Alex. Now I'm going to read your super chat now. I'm going to read your super chat now, Injection 2K. Thank you very much. It says, Alex McCarthy of Talk Sport reported that USA wants Raw to lean towards the adult/dark content. Do you think SmackDown needs the same? Also, hi Warren. Hello, Injection 2K. That's very interesting. I mean, these are all reports, right? So we don't know exactly what's going on. As far as I know, if I remember correctly, earlier this year, was it early this year or late last year, Mick Foley came on to the third hour of Raw to say that in front of an audience of millions watching that the third hour of Raw moving forward was going to be edgier. You remember that? I remember that. We had a good laugh out of that when in the preparation to his to the interview that I had with him. It was in the summer of last year. Jesus. Yeah. So, I mean, it's something that we've heard about multiple times. And if, the thing here is that if, like I'm not the ratings expert. You guys know, especially if you're a patron of the Mr. Warren Hayes show, you know exactly how I feel about ratings. I had a nice rant about that 2 weeks ago. If WWE wants to attract an audience that is similar to what AEW is attracting, they've got more to do than just create edgy content. You know, it's not suddenly, you're not going to, this is not 1997 where people flipping middle fingers on TV and saying shit or letting an F-bomb drop was mind-blowing and so incredibly edgy. You can't do that stuff anymore. And I don't think it's a question of bringing back an edge or getting dark. I think what they have to do is all they really need to do is have interesting, compelling stories. That's really all they need to do. Because frankly, AEW is very good at that. And on the flip side, in WWE, it's their weakness. And I don't think mature content is necessarily the way to go. Do something that feels young, that feels fresh and accessible, That's how you're going to make it happen. Instead of rehashing always the same things. And frankly, quite frankly, I don't think people tune in to watch wrestling to watch people talk to each other. I think they tune in to wrestling to watch wrestling. It's my hot take right there. Also, do you think SmackDown needs the same? Was still the second part of Injection 2K's question. I think that I think they're on a whole other level of relationship with Fox. Really, you got to keep in mind that USA is cable, and Fox is a network. This is like it's the big league. So there's probably a lot of things that you can't do on Fox. But like I don't know how it necessarily translates into ratings or whatnot. But you know what they're doing with Roman, with Sami Zayn, it's silly, it's stupid, but it's very good because they're using their wrestlers' strengths. And it was the same thing with Sasha and Bayley earlier this year. They were using their strengths as opposed to, trying to shoehorn them into weird angles and weird characters and whatnot. Just letting them be themselves, and that's when it gets compelling. I think between Raw and SmackDown, SmackDown's the better show these days because of what they're letting the talent do. So, we'll see what we'll see how things move forward, but I could probably benefit from having a little more mature content, but without going all out and then suddenly becoming edgy, because it's like I said, how do you turn this product into something edgy when it's no longer 1997 and the things that made you edgy back then are just like they're a little commonplace these days. Look who else we have on SmackDown tonight. We have Carmella, who is going to have a champagne toast, is what we're being told. Okay. Sure. Hopefully she fired that sommelier that she hired, was it last week? Because he brought Corbel champagne to the table, right? He brought a bottle of Corbel when he was on the ring to the outside. Folks, Corbel is $12 champagne. It's shit. So if I'm hiring a guy who's supposed to be this expert in fine spirits and wine, and he brings fucking Corbel to the table, I'm like, brother, hit the bricks. I'm getting myself someone else. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway, she's going to be toasting something, right? I can read the description if you want. We'll just pull it up here. Look. Down to just moments after their impromptu. Let me stretch this out here a bit for you. That's what she said. Please don't tell anyone I said that. Please don't tell my mother, especially. Just moments after their impromptu SmackDown Women's Championship match ended in a disqualification last week, Carmella brutally smashed a champagne bottle on Sasha Banks' back. Now, in the wake of the announcement of a rematch between the two bitter adversaries at WWE TLC, WWE Digital has learned that Mella will host a champagne toast ahead of the pay-per-view. I don't know, man. Look, it's probably going to end with more bottles getting smashed and champagne being all over the place. We'll see. Now, this is something I'm excited about. Sami Zayn is going to host the first annual Sammy Awards on SmackDown. He's pissed off at the Slammies, which is the most Sami Zayn thing to be mad at. Who gets mad at the Slammy Awards? If you're not Owen Hart or excited, Owen Hart and Sami Zayn, it just works perfectly to me. This is such good stuff. This has the potential to be really, really entertaining. I'm excited. Of course, the internet wrestling community gets mad at, but I mean, I'm talking about reasonable people. See, and we're also part of the IWC. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Are we reasonable? Hell no. Very so build for tonight. And honestly, no one beats AEW for promoting their Wednesday night shows. That's without question. But WWE has Bianca and Bayley in their pocket tonight. That's something to look forward to. I'm excited about. Fingers crossed. I don't know if it'll main event. I feel like there's going to be some Roman stuff tonight, of course. So that's always fun. I'm sure that they're going to rearrange the trajectory off of the misstep they kind of had last week. But it's going to be good stuff. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm burying Corbel champagne. It's shit. It's shit. You know what it is? Corbel champagne is for people who want to get drunk on champagne and are broke. It's just as simple as that. You want a proper champagne. Hey, don't even get champagne, folks. Get yourselves some cava, which is Spanish champagne from a region, and it's much more crisper and cleaner. I'm a big fan of cava. That's what I'm going to be having on the 31st. Champagne. Come on. Hey, thank you all for joining me this evening. Enjoy SmackDown tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. TLC prediction show with our boy Foul Original. Come and join us in the Discord to chat some more about all of this. Woo! Was a good time, folks. See you next time.